Hello and welcome to Casual Buddhism. I'm Cindy Rossico, author of Finding Venerable Mother and devoted follower of Venerable Dhammananda Bhikkhuni. Venerable Dhammananda is the first fully ordained Theravada Thai nun in Thailand and also the abbess of Sangdhamma Kalyani Temple, an all-female monastery located about, I would say, 40 kilometers west of Bangkok. And Casual Buddhism, for those of you who are just tuning in, is a series of informal, short discussions, conversations with the guests that I have on, Venerable Dhammananda, myself, and also Venerable Parapuna, who is an ordained nun in the monastery. Yes, hello, Parapuna, Venerable. And anyway, Casual Buddhism is really talking about how to practice Buddhism in our everyday lives. So today we have Melanie, who is part of my Sangha, and I welcome her here. And she has a question to ask you, Venerable, on why speech.
Well, first, I want to thank you, Venerable Dhammananda, for the inspiration that you offer to women practitioners everywhere, especially. It's so heartening and encouraging and enlightening to have your guidance and leadership. So thank you first for that. I have a question for you about why speech. In the 5 precepts of non-harming that I study, the 4th one that I study is to abstain from false, harsh, divisive, and useless speech. And my question for you is about useless speech. That's often for me described as gossip by many of the teachers that I've had. And I'm a little bit confused on that because I feel that women have a way of connecting through conversation that's a little bit different than men. And I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel that often when I try to connect with my friends, some of the male practitioners might consider that to be useless speech. You know, we talk about what we've been doing and where we've been and how families are and things like that.
Yes.
And I wondered if you would care to comment about that.
Yes, very good, very good question. This question arises only when a person practices. Yes, in the 5 precepts, this comes in the 4th one. But the 4th one simply say, don't tell lies, don't tell lies. But once when it goes to Sammawaja in the Eightfold Path, Sammawaja includes not to tell lies, not to speak harsh words, not to be backbiting, and not to speak frivolous talk. The one you're asking is frivolous talk. I just give you an example. For people who come here to practice, they're supposed to be in silent meditation. At the dining table, if she asks, could you please pass me salt? That's fine. But if you just start, are you married? This is considered frivolous talk. Whether the person sitting next to you is married or not is none of your business. It is not improving your spiritual progress. Yeah. So now the Buddha provided us even another way of looking at it, how we can consider our speech, whether it is useless, whether it is frivolous or not. He said there are 4 kinds of speeches. That which is not beneficial, that which is not true. Combination, that which is not true, not beneficial. That which is beneficial but not true, you also don't say that. That which is true but not beneficial, you also don't say it. Choose only the speech that is beneficial and that is truthful. This beneficial is beneficial to you, beneficial to others. So this may give us, how to say, the guidance to continue with our speech. But I really get your point, Melanie, to how do they consider this useless or not? Like in the beginning, I asked Cindy, please introduce Melanie so that I get to know your background. What did you do for a living? Suppose if I ask, what did you do for your living? Is that frivolous talk? Is it useless? No, it's not useless for me, because unless I know what was your background before you start practicing Buddhism, that would be good for me, so that I could make good connection when I explain things to you. If I know that, oh, you have been teaching before, you have been a professor before, then I can speak to you in a more academic language, for example. So useless or not, I think the intention is very good. Look at the intention. The intention is loving kindness. The intention is sometimes, it may be considered frivolous talk, but it actually is helping another person to kind of break the ice. You say that in English, break the ice. The person is so out of place, didn't know what to do. She's new to the place. You can maybe simply ask her something that may be considered frivolous, something that may be considered useless, but it was useful for her to be connected to the group. So this, Melanie, the intention is very important, that we speak out of kind-heartedness. We speak in order to make friends with her. So whether to consider it frivolous talk, to consider it useless or not. Maybe for other people may be useless, but for you, you have intention, you have good intention to help this person to get started in the practice of this particular circle.
Thank you
Yes.
very much.
So intention, yeah.
I have one comment to make, because Venerable, sometimes you say that women, there's something in here, and also that I heard in Melanie's question about women possibly speaking, or I know you've said this, maybe speaking or teaching the Dharma in a more, from your experience rather than purely theoretical. I don't know if that's related to this question or not, but I'm asking you if that is part of what this question is.
Not quite, but we as women, we have our ways of telling our experience, but the experience changed because you have started to practice. So this is a way of talking about Dharma, but in a woman's way. I can share with you my experience of childbirth. The men cannot say that. The men cannot do that. But with this experience of giving childbirth, it's actually, I am hitting on birth, and how can we connect this birth to birth in Buddhism. So we have a different way of expressing ourselves in Dharma.
I see.
And it's unique. So therefore, Melanie, we don't have to take the complete copy of our male master, because sometimes the male masters do not have the experience, the rich experience that we have as women. And this part of rich experience, once digested, you can share with other women in a much more meaningful way.
Thank you very much. That's very helpful. Very reassuring too. Thank you.
Yes. And when I was ordained, the line that I always say, this is a golden phrase. The Buddha allowed women to be ordained because women can be enlightened, Melanie. Very seldom you would find anyone emphasizing on this. They said, because Ananda was requesting the Buddha, this and that. No, when the Buddha gave permission to us women to be ordained because we do have potentiality, equal potentiality to be enlightened. And he said very clearly that she can go through first stage, second stage, third and fourth until fully enlightened. So this is the golden phrase that we should repeat again and again among us sisters, so that we can be reassured that what we are practicing is on the right path.
Thank you.
Melanie, you had another question which I thought was interesting about the transmission of teachings.
Yes. I was wondering, Venerable, if you cared to comment about the transmission of teachings from teacher to student. If you have some thoughts about how that works, whether it's possible, whether you believe that that is something that happens.
You know, this talking about this transmission really is much more in Tibetan lineage, much more in Tibetan lineage. In Theravada, the masters just simply give Dharma talk. And whoever listened and whoever put those teachings into practice and benefit from it, then he or she may consider herself disciple of that particular teacher. But there was no sense of transmission, just like how you would experience in Tibetan lineage.
Okay, thank you.
But you know, in Tibetan Buddhism, there is a commitment, very clear commitment between once you take this guru as your root guru, you know, that root guru will take care of you from this life until you are enlightened. There is no such thing in Theravada Buddhism. I mean, the master simply come and give the guidance, and whether that particular student or disciple considered himself disciple or student or not, completely depend on the students. There is no strong bonding between the master and the disciples.
And Melanie,
I quite understand, you know, I quite understand the Theravada attitude, because also they are careful not to have that attachment, you know, attachment between master and disciples. Allow the teaching, Dharma, to be there, whether or not it is given by this master, that master. So there is no strong binding. A strong binding is good, but at the same time, it could be clinking. You know, negatively, it could be clinking.
Yes, I've had that experience with you, Venerable, and you've helped me to learn about it.
Yes.
Anyway, I appreciate you saying that. It makes it a little clearer in my mind.
Yes. And the Buddha was I think it's very beautiful teaching this part. We usually do this chanting at the time when we have someone died, you know, at the funeral. But the Buddha himself said, whether or not there is a Buddha, whether or not there is that person who discovered the truth about Dharma, Dharma has always been there. You see, this attitude is so beautiful that even the Buddha did not want people to cling to him as the Buddha, because one who discovered the truth is the Buddha. Whether or not there is a Buddha or many Buddhas, the truth, Dharma, has always been there. So this is very beautiful passage.
Yes.
Do we have time for one last question?
Yes,
or
we do. Yes, we do.
Venerable, I have a question for you about rebirth. I've been taught that Theravadan practice does not really consider rebirth something that we should study, because it's a form of selfing to even expect that we might take another form, and that kind of attachment is unhealthy. How do you feel about that?
Rebirth, reincarnation. We have to make a distinction between rebirth and reincarnation. Okay. In Theravada Buddhism, we have rebirth, but we don't have reincarnation. And rebirth goes only. It would be real for all of us. Rebirth will be real for all of us, unless and until we are enlightened. Then we don't have to get caught in this cyclical birth and rebirth again. So that is our aim, our spiritual aim, not to be reborn. Yes, but not reincarnation. We don't have that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think it's very fruitful 10 minutes, but very fruitful and very, how to say, condensed. Yeah?
Yes. Yes.
What we have discussed is very condensed.
Very beautiful. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Venerable. And I would love to have more guests on casual Buddhism. So contact me, which you can do my website, cindyrosico.com, or on my Facebook, cindy.rosico.author. And this has been a very, as Venerable said, a very condensed session. Thank you very much, all of you. And thank you for joining us on this Casual Buddhism. And we welcome you back again in another 2 weeks. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.